Hello, beautiful family. As the human talking to you, I'm very blessed that today I'm wrapped in a state of consciousness that is deeply still, deeply peaceful because of it. We all wax and wane, we move between different states of consciousness. And it is the alteration of consciousness that the hope for a future of joy and love rests upon. And at this time in our human journey, we're on the brink of a great unknown. And you don't need myself to tell you that humanity has a problem with a fear of the unknown. But upon investigation, there's an irony to that, because you cannot fear the unknown because it's not known. And so what we fear is what we think about the unknown. We fear our own thoughts about the unknown. But I find it's only with a healthy curiosity that we can walk in faith and not fear. And so approaching the unknown with a healthy curiosity is better than approaching it with a healthy fear. By that I mean a healthy dose of fear. An unhealthy state is fear, of course. And this great unknown I'm talking about is the metaverse. And the metaverse is coming. And the metaverse is coming at a time where life definition is also coming. Meaning within the lifetime of perhaps ourselves, definitely our children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren, humanity will have access to a life definition replica of this planet. And it's already in development. The new Earth and the metaverse has already begun. A virtual world that we can live inside of, instead of this one that knit us all together in our mother's womb. And so of course there are dangers with this technology, as there has been with every other technology. Gunpowder has created awe and wonder with firework displays for many generations. And it's created grieving and sorrow and destruction for many also. Fire has heated our homes. And yet it's injured many as well. I read this week that half of the world's population, 3.5 billion people, are active gamers. And that means that half of the world's population is absolutely ready and prepared for this metaverse. At the time of this lockdown, people are even deeper prepared because they have relied upon the screen for so much. Timing is quite profound, I'm sure you'd agree. And so the only question really is, which among those using games and entertainment and screens, of that 3.5 more if you include movies, billion, how many come home from their work, their education, their life, and they feel discomfort? They feel the rejection of what is, which we have labelled boredom, the state of consciousness that does not accept the holiness, the divinity of the moment, does not accept the wonder of this epic moment. I'm the only human being here experiencing this current day, the light as it is, the wind as it is, the sounds as they are, and it'll never happen again. It's so valuable. It's so valuable that I, by chance, am a human form talking to you from this. How many come home in that state of what we label and use a symbol of boredom? Because they do not see that. They don't feel comfort inside their own body in this present moment. And nowness is absent from them. And so to satiate that, to escape that boredom they feel in their body, they grab at the game or at the movie. And what percentage of that 3.5 billion comes home feeling the nowness, feeling the joy and the bliss of life, and from there explores an art form of man in the form of entertainment? And sadly, I would say most likely the vast percentage are in the first group. And it's not even their fault, because we have been led astray within our education systems from the nowness. Before a child naturally develops their true sense of self in the present moment, and the natural state of joy and bliss that life gives you there, we are pounding their brain with algebra and history and telling them, when you graduate, then you'll get it. And so the whole thing is dragging our children away from understanding their body, and its connection to the now is found by knowing the anatomy. Memory. Imagine if you taught very straightforward to your children, don't use your memory to build an image of who you are, because it'll generate suffering. It will form. Children form egos. Children are the most egocentric beings among us. You think your 3 or 4-year-old cares less that millions are starving? No, not at all. It's part of the process. But as they get older, when the child boasts that, look at me, I can jump off this bed, it's beautiful. When that stays with a grown man and he says, look at me, look at the car I've got, it's a problem. And so the education system has misled our anatomy. We don't know, therefore, by the time we leave school, how to be comfortable within it. Certainly by the time often we leave college, university, or whatever path we take. Teaching nowness is not there. Teaching how to be happy with life is not there. And so that nowness is a surrender to the gratitude of God's creation, and the other becomes a pursuit of trying to find some satiation of that gap with technology, it would seem. And of course, our intelligence and invention is glorious, it's a gift, it's divine. But when it's founded on a separation from God's presence or nowness, then we create war and weapons instead of an end to suffering. And so the metaverse is coming, and the only way you can protect your future generations from this technology is for you right now to alter your behavior. Be honest. Are you bored and grabbing at a screen to escape that? If so, why? What's causing that? And most likely it's merely that your body has been dopamine saturated and formed habit. The same way you formed a habit of misusing your memory to bring up an image of who you are. We formed habits of externalizing and becoming reliant on these technologies to make us feel some pleasure, instead of taking time for that to pass and settle and unwind and detoxify from that and enter the everlasting joy of the gratitude of creation, the nowness, the light of silence. And so your children won't listen to you, they will interpret, copy, they will mimic you. They won't interpret your words if you are saying, this is how it should be, and then you're glued to your phone and television. They won't. It's not how children operate. And so the metaverse is the same, but it's a deeper issue. Because for those who sit at the metaverse with life definition and go into it because they feel no comfort with one foot in God's light, they are going to become eternally lost from God's light. Because they're going to be reaching outside of themselves to try and find that which can only be found within. And so there's hope here, because God needs to raise up a pocket of society. And it would seem it is becoming the minority that has a foundation in the will of unconditioned love that is found in the joy and the bliss of the thanksgiving of creation and in the light of God. And also learning how these technologies work, to be able to bring that foundation of their consciousness, instead of the toiling and lost seeking and searching inside technology for that, to their fellow man. And so the problem is not the metaverse, it's the human, and how it will use this technology, how it will try to escape the fact that the education system is all messed up and doesn't teach our children how to be happy here and now, and instead teaches them something totally opposite to it. I, as the human talking to you, have gone through a passage of time, and I have memories and awareness that screens have destroyed family units and perceptions of men against women using pornography. I've also taken that technology and created immense social connection and helped many persons in need because Spirit took over my body to do so. All glory to God. sorry to get personal. And no matter where you place the blame for this, a natural occurrence of man developing intelligence, a genetic interference in our history of our evolution by some otherworldly species, a higher dimensional force influencing us, the jinn, as they call it in Islam. I've made it no secret that I've seen another dimensional species, it would appear, or I'm witnessing an archetype which looks like a species from inside the subconscious of man collective, interfering with, suppressing. Doesn't matter where you lay your blame, the escape, the answer, the protective nature of it is all the same. We must become the type of humans. We must become the type of humans who sit at that technology to explore our fellow man's creation as an art form, not to satiate a lack of comfort within inside ourselves. This is where we protect ourselves from technology and from other people misusing it against us. And already people are so hooked on simple tech. There's a lot of work to be done there. People are hooked on the infinite scroll of Instagram. How are they going to manage with a life definition metaverse, which is likely deeply more stimulating? Do we want to surrender to God and let that unconditioned love we feel there take hold of our intelligence and build the technology and use the technology in the way that is the foundation of all that we are? Or do we want to keep trying to use our intelligence to dismantle the mystery of God and create separation and addiction and societies where huge numbers of people take their own life even? Trying to replicate technology that already exists within us. There's people wanting to explore space to see if there's other cultures. There's those of us who are visiting them with our biological technology. We're trying to replicate that which we've forgotten within, it would seem. And so I don't fear the metaverse at all. Because as with YouTube, I will keep a solid foundation in God's light. And I will take that light into the metaverse to try and bring God's love to those who are potentially trying to escape the lack of God's love they feel in their working life by going into these technologies.